Recently, I was invited to speak to 17 young men who had taken the life of another person. All of them were locked up for murder, and all of them were going to get out in the next 5 years. I was invited to speak at the last minute, and so the director of the detention center had no idea really who I was. She saw me and was like, look, you're going to be speaking to some very difficult kids. Where are you from? What's your background? I could tell she was very nervous about having me speak. And I had a whole PowerPoint, a bunch of information, pictures, music, some things that would really get these kids' attention. And she didn't give me time to set up my equipment to do that presentation. She said, look, they're coming down the hallway right now. Go, start speaking. So right as the kids came in, they sat down. I looked at them and I said, look, I'm going to teach you how you could have an advantage for being locked up for murder than an advantage over someone who's at Harvard. They looked at me like I was crazy. The staff is like, how could someone have an advantage for being locked up for murder, have an advantage over someone at Harvard? And I said to these young men, I said, look, when you wake up in the morning, you think about the life you took. When you go to bed at night, you think about the life you took. The emotions around that never leave you. And all the young men shook their head. They all agreed. And I said, you have a powerful decision to make. Research shows that 80% of you are going to probably transition into the adult correction system. For you not to go into the adult correction system, you're going to have to flip a switch. You're going to have to say to yourself, because I committed this horrible crime, I'm going to use this as the fuel to be a great father one day, a great husband one day, maybe a great employer one day. I said, you guys are felons. You probably will have to be self-employed. It's very hard to get a job when you're a felon. And I said, look, you have to take the pain of this, of taking someone's life, and use that as the emotion to become a greater human being. I said that there are students right now at Harvard. I worked at a comprehensive clinic at an Ivy League type of school, and I saw straight A students. Their car would break down. Their girlfriend broke up with them. They got a B on a test instead of an A on a test. And I actually saw 2 young men take their lives over similar things. You know, coming from my background, that was pretty hard to digest. And I just said to these young men, listen, it's how you see the world. It's your paradigm. It's kind of how you see the world is going to determine how you respond to very difficult situations. And you could literally have an advantage for being locked up for murder than even someone at Harvard that doesn't see their problems as their best friend. They don't see their problems as the fuel to push through the difficulties in their lives. But if someone teaches you how to flip that switch and see your problems as your best friend, you have a huge resiliency advantage.